Hi guys, it's Mackenzie again, and um, I got a pretty warm response from my last video, so I said might as well make another one. This is kind of something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I think the video is a good way to explain it. Basically, I just kind of want to point out some of the main misconceptions people have about the Libertarian Party, and kind of clear up any confusion or any kind of stereotypes that exist. I kind of maybe disprove. Um, I guess the first one and the most major one, I think, is the idea that libertarianism is a form of conservatism, which just isn't true. And I've heard people say that it is at the far right end of the spectrum of conservatism, which is ridiculous because that's not even remotely true. And I started to correct someone who said, I said, no, it's a more moderate form. And I'm like, wait, no, it's not a form at all. And I think maybe some people have seen this, but there's kind of this graph, I think somewhere on the internet, and it's kind of, I don't know. So on y-axis, you have okay, economic liberty, and then going up, and you have on this x-axis you have personal liberty, and so at the far end here is the Democratic Party, at the top end here is the Republican Party. Down here with pretty much neither or a very small amount of both, you have authoritarian, and then up at the top, in the top right corner with maximum of both, you have libertarian. And you typically hear that term fiscally conservative, socially liberal, which is a good way to just explain it if you have a second to explain it and you can't really go into detail. But at the same time, I don't think that's completely accurate because, libertarians don't agree with everything socially that Democratic Party says, and I think that a lot of times libertarians and Republicans will kind of not totally agree when it comes to economics. I think that there is a difference. I think that a lot of Republicans aren't for just total free market capitalism. I feel like they're for some government regulation. I mean, I'm not saying for no government regulation, but I think certainly Republicans think that there should be a little bit more than we think there should be. I think that a lot of Republicans are okay with the way that the economic system is today, and they kind of see if you're born to not as great socioeconomic conditions, that's just how it is. You're just gonna have to learn how to deal with it. And if you're born rich, it's I don't know. They think in the terms of free market capitalism, but they kind of think that that's what we have today, and they don't feel the need to lift a ton of regulations just to further limit more regulation. I don't know if that's true. It just kind of seems like it from talking to my mom, who's a Republican. But I think that kind of differ from conservatives in that libertarians are for just total free markets, and accepting that some people aren't born into the socioeconomic class that they should be in based on merit. And I think that free markets allow for that and allow for people to kind of shift to where they need to be or where they deserve to be, even if it's falling. Rise and fall based off of merit. I think that's how it should be. I think that free markets are the best way to kind of let that happen. I think another big misconception is that kind of libertarian party and philosophy is a selfish way to think, which I don't think it is, because a lot of people will be like, well, you're asking for a lot. And it's well, maybe compared to what we have now, but it doesn't mean that what we have now is right. It just means that we don't agree with what we have now. I just feel maybe this is just me, but I'm not trying to offend anyone. If I do, I'm sorry. But I just find it a lot less selfish to want the government to leave you alone or have a much smaller government than to have government who can give you everything you could possibly want. I feel that's a little bit more selfish. I mean, I don't know. I just feel asking for the government to leave you alone and to kind of have your own ability to decide what you want to do, how you spend your money, what you want to do with your body. I think that's not that selfish. I think that it's just an easy idea to get, being under the government that we have now. I don't think it's selfish at all. And I think from what I've heard, I've seen statistics. I'm not sure how true this is, but it's Libertarian Party is totally weighted male rather than female. There's a big difference. Maybe that is true. I don't know. I don't know how accurate those statistics are, but I think that a lot of times people see something like that, it's just oh, well, clearly it's more in favor of men. So it kind of brings you back to that idea of, well, they must be conservatives because conservatives are known as the white man's party, which, okay, I don't I don't think this is true being a girl and being a libertarian, but like that I don't think that it favors men. I think that it favors individual liberty, which is blind to race, gender, socioeconomic background. It's just about you and what you can do. And I don't think that's at all sexist. I think that is the complete opposite because it's allowing you to not be judged based off your race or discriminated against based off of your race. It's just what you can do with your ability, what you can do, how you can decide what you want to do. Yeah, I mean, that's for complete equality. No, it's not for equality of outcome, but I think that's kind of a hard thing to promise unless, you advocate for socialism, which I clearly don't. But I think that's the best way to ensure, equality is just treating everybody like just individuals and, not treating people differently because they're in this, category and in this category or, this level of wealth or whatever. I think that giving everyone the same opportunities, not just what they're born into, I think that's the best way to ensure that you're being fair. And being a girl, I don't think it's at all sexist way to think because I really do support, women's rights. But at the same time, I oppose collectivism because I think that, like, we have to stop thinking in this, group mentality because that's what separated us in the first place. I think that it's kind of a dangerous way to think because you're just forcing people back into these groups. So I think that you need to stop thinking about yourself as I'm in this group or I'm in this group, but I'm just me and what can I do to better myself. I guess kind of the last thing is there's a difference between anarchy and libertarianism. I think that a lot of libertarians kind of toy with the idea of anarchy more than other people, but just because you're for limited government doesn't mean you're for no government because that's a big difference, like not having government. And I think that it's something that you should consider, would it really be so bad to not have government? But most libertarians who identify as libertarians, not anarchists, do agree in government, just the smallest government possible. And I mean, I don't know, just for me, I don't think there should be no government. I think about it a lot, would it really be so bad? But for me, I think there should be very small government, probably more at a state level. But that doesn't mean I'm an anarchist. Yeah, but no, that's about it. I think those are the kind of the main things that people misinterpret about the party, and hopefully this has helped to clear this up. So thank you for watching, and if this was informative or not super boring or whatever, let me know, because I don't know if I should keep making these or not, but this is just one that I really wanted to make, so thank you for watching.